When most people think of Texas, they picture $600,000 homes in Austin, bumper-to-bumper traffic in Dallas, Houston's endless suburbs, and a cost of living that climbs a little higher every year. Everyone says Texas used to be affordable, but for a lot of people today, that feels like a story from another era, because right now, the average two-bedroom rental in Dallas runs about $1,470 a month. That's $17,640 a year. Over a decade, that's $176,000. And at the end of it, you own exactly nothing. But there's another side of Texas that most people never see. Quiet towns north of Dallas. Small cities tucked into the East Texas pine forests. Rural stretches around College Station, where affordable still means something. I went through hundreds of Texas listings this month. These 10 are the ones I couldn't close the tab on. Some come with private wells. Some sit on acres of land. Some are within walking distance of a river, which means an evening walk that ends at water, and a reason to come home. The prices run from $339,000 all the way down to $41,900. You read that right. There are still places in Texas where you can own a home for what some people pay in a few months of rent. I saved the most surprising price for last, and it genuinely stopped me when I first saw it. Subscribe to Real Estate Hunter USA. Let's get into it. This is the highest priced home on the list, listed at $339,000. But before you keep scrolling, there's one detail buried in this listing that most buyers completely miss. And that single detail changes the entire conversation. Pilot Point sits 52 miles north of Dallas in Denton County, one of the oldest towns in the region. The crew from Bonnie and Clyde filmed here in 1967, when they needed a town that looked like the real Texas, not a set, not a studio lot, not a recreation. They found Pilot Point and didn't change a thing. That kind of town doesn't get built anymore. It just gets found. The median home value in Pilot Point is $286,900. That's 17.8% below the national average. And crime sits well below the national average, too. Now here's the detail that matters. This home is being sold with an assumable FHA loan at 4.99% interest. No down payment, no point costs. You cover a few closing fees and take over the payments. In today's rate environment, that's an extraordinary advantage, and most buyers don't even stop to read it. The home is at 729 Amelia Court, built in 2022. 4 bedrooms, 3 bathrooms, 2,448 square feet. The primary bedroom and a guest room sit on the main floor. Upstairs, 2 more bedrooms, a bathroom, and a second living area. The kitchen, dining, and living spaces all connect, open and easy to move through. There's a voice-activated smart home system, a tankless water heater, and a covered patio facing a yard that stretches nearly an acre. That's your morning coffee, uninterrupted, with nothing between you and the open sky. HOA is $71 a month. Lake Ray Roberts is minutes away. That's a Saturday morning kayak before the rest of the neighborhood is awake. The Dallas North Tollway is a few miles down the road. Annual taxes run $7,975. That sounds like a lot until you remember you're 52 miles from Dallas, sitting on 2,448 square feet, with an assumable loan that beats current market rates by nearly 2 points. A 2-bedroom rental in Pilot Point runs $1,470 a month. That's $17,640 a year. Over 5 years, $88,200. And at the end of it, you own nothing. With this assumable loan, your monthly payment on a 4-bedroom home could come in below that rent number. And at the end of 5 years, you've built equity on a property that sits on a real lot, in a town 52 miles from Dallas, with a loan rate most buyers today can't touch. This one is for the buyer who's done the math, knows what interest rates are doing, and understands that a 4.99% assumable loan in this market isn't a detail. It's the whole story. The next one is in Waco's oldest neighborhood, a 1938 farmhouse, renovated, full of character, and already $15,000 off the price. Most people hear Waco and immediately think of Chip and Joanna Gaines, Magnolia Market, and rising prices. But there's a side of Waco that doesn't make the highlight reel. A 1938 farmhouse sitting on a tree-lined street, renovated, full of character, and now $15,000 cheaper than it was. Currently listed at $285,000. Sanger Heights is one of Waco's oldest neighborhoods, walking distance to the Brazos River and Cameron Park. The area has been going through a real transformation. Sidewalks rebuilt, buildings repainted, walkways widened. The goal isn't just new housing. It's building the kind of spaces where people actually want to spend time. And because that transformation isn't finished yet, the people buying right now stand to catch a serious wave of appreciation. Baylor University just a few miles away, Dallas 90 miles out, Austin 100 miles south. Affordable living between two major cities. Single story, 1,776 square feet, 3 bedrooms, 2 bathrooms. Step inside and you got a granite island kitchen, a gas range, a dishwasher. The living room has a fireplace, a chandelier, and layered accent lighting that gives the space a warm, lived-in feel. Luxury vinyl flooring throughout. Double sink bathroom. Out back, a wide covered porch, a fenced yard, and a lot measuring 8,407 square feet. Central HVAC in working order. The median home price in Waco is $208,800. This one is priced higher, but the renovation quality, the lot size, and the neighborhood's upside explain the gap. Rental average in the area runs about $1,010 a month for a 2-bedroom. That's nearly half what you'd pay in Dallas or Austin. Waco's overall crime rate runs slightly above the national average. That's worth knowing before you buy. This home is in Sanger Heights, one of the oldest established neighborhoods in the city. Drive through on a weekday morning and a Saturday evening. The street tells its own story. This is for someone who wants to be in a neighborhood before it peaks, not after everyone else has already figured out and the prices have moved. The next one, 8 acres, 70 miles from Dallas. And it's already $32,000 off the asking price. 8 acres, 70 miles from Dallas. And $32,000 already off the price. Still sitting there, still available. This listing started higher. It's already come down $32,000. And it's still on the market. The market is telling you something. The question is whether you're listening. Eustace sits at the entrance to Cedar Creek Lake. People drive out for a weekend. Fishing, slow mornings, lake days. And by Sunday afternoon, they're calling real estate agents. The lake does that to people. Life here moves at a pace that, after a few days, starts to feel like the right one. The median home value in the area is $278,700. This property is $30,000 below that, and it comes with 8 acres. This is for whoever's been saying, someday I want land for the last 10 years. Someday just got a price tag. The home was built in 2001. 3 bedrooms, 2 bathrooms, 1,344 square feet. It's a double-wide manufactured home. That's the honest part. The real story is what surrounds it. A 25 by 35 metal storage building with electricity already run. Room for an RV, ATVs, equipment, tools. An aerobic septic system means no extra sewer bills. And the land is currently under an AG exemption, which means serious tax savings while the land itself keeps its value. Annual property taxes, $1,235. Most people in the DFW suburbs pay that for a quarter-acre lot with an HOA that tells them what color to paint the fence. 2-bedroom rentals in Eustace run about $920 a month. That's $11,040 a year. Over 5 years, $55,200 handed to a landlord, gone forever. At $248,000 with 8 acres and an AG exemption on the taxes, you're not just getting out of rent, you're getting land that holds its value, while everything around it keeps climbing. No, HOA. The $32,000 discount covers almost every improvement you'd want to make after moving in. Most buyers don't stop to do that math. The next one is 100 miles from Dallas on a full acre with a brick exterior and a roof already replaced. And it's $25,000 off the original price. This one is listed at $225,000, already $25,000 off the original price. $25,000 is a down payment on a condo in Dallas with shared walls and a parking space that costs extra. Here, it's the discount. Talco is the kind of town where the post office knows your name before you fill out a single form. 100 miles from Dallas, close enough to drive in when you need to, far enough that the city never follows you home. I-30 access means you're connected to the entire East Texas corridor without living in any of it. The house is at 6406 Texas 37, built in 1980. Classic brick exterior, roof already replaced, single-story layout with a wide, functional floor plan, 3 bedrooms. But the enclosed garage can become a 4th, and it already has its own bathroom. The living room is comfortable and spacious. The kitchen and dining area have a practical, everyday layout. Outside, a covered porch and a big yard. 2-car garage already in place. $101 per square foot. In Dallas, that number rarely drops below $250, and that's without the full acre of land. The median home price in Talco is $144,500. This one sits above that, but 2,225 square feet on a full acre makes that price make sense. 2-bedroom rentals in the area average $990 a month. Your mortgage here competes with that number, and at the end of it, you own the acre. Crime rate in Talco runs slightly above the national average. Worth factoring in. The town is rural and quiet, but verify that yourself before you commit. Drive through at different times. Talk to someone who lives there. The bones are solid. Brick exterior from 1980. Roof already replaced. Everything else is cosmetic. This one is for the person who works remotely 3 days a week and has been doing the math on what they're paying to live close to an office they barely use. The next one is 30 minutes from College Station. Private well, private septic, nearly an acre, 2020 build. This one came down $5,000 and is now listed at $219,900. The discount isn't really the story here. The story is what's in the package. A private well, a septic system, nearly an acre land, a 2020 build, and the whole thing sits just 30 minutes from College Station. Caldwell has a name for itself among the people who live there, a front porch town. Not a marketing slogan, just the way people describe it when you ask. Doors don't get locked. A neighbor notices if you haven't been outside in a few days and knocks to check. College Station is 30 minutes away, which means you can access Texas A&M's hospitals, restaurants, and job market without paying to live inside it. The community itself has a lake, a fishing area, a playground, a basketball court, and a campground. The home is at 2791 Canyon Drive, built in 2020. 1,456 square feet, 3 bedrooms, 2 bathrooms, and the lot itself spans 39,683 square feet. That's the detail that stops you. A fully fenced yard, an open covered patio, bright and airy throughout. The detached 2-car garage can double as a workshop or storage space. Inside, an island kitchen, a breakfast nook, high ceilings, energy-efficient windows, and a washer and dryer already included. And then the most important line in the listing, private well and septic. No water bill, no sewer fee. That's thousands of dollars back in your pocket every year. The median home value in Caldwell is $229,400. This one comes in $10,000 below that and brings nearly a full acre and a private well with it. In Austin, a private well and an acre would add 6 figures to a listing price. The crime rate here is well below the national average, the lowest of any town on this list. That detail matters when you're choosing where to put down roots. This is for someone who wants a new build, private water, and a yard their kids can actually run in without paying city prices for any of it. The next one is in West Texas. 7 acres, a horse barn, livestock pens, and the price just dropped $15,000. Earth, that's the name of the town, and once you've been here, it makes sense. The land stretches flat in every direction as far as you can track. Lubbock is about an hour away. Out here, your company is the wind and a sky that goes on longer than you can follow. The kind of place where people know what they signed up for and they chose it on purpose. $195,000 buys you 7 acres, a horse barn, and livestock pens on a working farmhouse. The price just dropped $15,000. The median home value in Earth is $78,700. This property sits above that, because it brings 7 acres and real agricultural infrastructure with it. The home is at 533 U.S. Highway 70, built in 1960, 1,778 square feet, 3 bedrooms, 2 fully updated bathrooms. Inside, a large living room, open dining area, and a big kitchen with breakfast bar, ceiling fans, and central air. Outside, a front porch, a large workshop building, horse and cattle pens, and a livestock barn. No HOA, no rules, no neighbors close enough to have opinions. Stand on the front porch of this place and look in any direction. Flat land as far as you can track. The wind moves through the grass in the morning, and the sky at night belongs entirely to whoever's watching. The only thing that might interrupt your coffee is the sound of that wind moving across the open land. Think about what it would actually cost to run horses or build a small working farm near Dallas or Austin. Here, all of it, the land, the barn, the pens, the infrastructure, comes in at $195,000. Crime here is well below the national average. This is for the person who's been thinking about that for years. The land is ready. The barn is standing. The price is right in front of you. 2 more properties before the end. The next one is back in Caldwell, but a completely different property. Modern farmhouse aesthetic, already finished, 30 minutes from College Station. Caldwell again, but a completely different property. $5,000 off the original price, now listed at $189,900. And this one stands out from the others on this list because it nails the modern farmhouse aesthetic without trying too hard. 104 North Oneal Street, built in 1985, brick exterior, single story, 1,087 square feet, 3 bedrooms, 1.5 bathrooms. The kitchen has quartz countertops, an electric range, energy-efficient appliances, and stainless steel finishes. Programmable thermostat, gas water heater, modern vinyl flooring throughout, ceiling fans in the main rooms. Out back, a detached carport and a fully fenced private yard. Here's what makes Caldwell itself worth noting again. This is the safest town on the entire list. The numbers bear it out, and the people who live here will tell you the same thing without looking at a single statistic. College Station and Bryan are 30 minutes away, which means you have access to Texas A&M's job and education ecosystem without paying city prices to live in it. The rental average in the area runs about $890 a month. Your mortgage payment on this home could come in below that, and at the end of it, you own the place. The median home value in Caldwell is $229,400. This property is $40,000 below that number. This one is for whoever wants the modern farmhouse look without the renovation project. It's already done. You just move in. 2 more. And the last one is the reason I made this video. After a $20,000 price cut, this home is now listed at $129,999. 2,912 square feet for bedrooms, 3.5 bathrooms. $45 per square foot. In most DFW suburbs, that number doesn't get below $200 anymore. Jasper carries a nickname it's had for generations. The jewel of the forest, tall pines, winding rivers, blackwater lakes. The kind of landscape that makes people slow down without being asked. Life here doesn't rush, and after a while, you stop wanting it to. The median home price here is $129,000. So this property is right at the market average, except you're getting 2,912 square feet for that number. Monthly rent in Jasper averages about $930. The property is at 455 County Road 065, 2 acres fully fenced, within walking distance of a river, which means an evening walk that ends at water, and just minutes from a lake and the Angelina National Forest. 2-story home. High ceilings, hardwood floors, and the original porcelain farmhouse, sinks still intact. 2 primary suites, a major advantage for large families or anyone who hosts long-term guests. A fireplace. Front porch faces a road. Back porch faces the trees and the river beyond them. Most evenings you'll have to decide which one to sit on. That's a good problem to have. And one of the most expensive infrastructure items, the aerobic septic system, was recently fully replaced. That's a major cost off the new owner's plate. Now the honest part, This is a restoration project. No central heating, window units only. Some sections still waiting to be finished. Most people hear that and close the tab. The ones who keep reading are usually the ones who end up owning something nobody else had the patience to find. Here's what makes it worth talking about. The home was built using reclaimed timber salvage from the historic St. Mary's Church in Port Arthur. These aren't just walls. There's actual history in the framing. The aerobic septic was just replaced. The hardwood floors are intact. The porcelain farmhouse sink is still in place. The most expensive work is already done. What's left is the vision. This is for the buyer who hears restoration project and sees the finished version before anyone else does. Those are the people who catch opportunities like this. Are you one of them? One more. And this is the number I went back to check twice because I was sure I was reading it wrong. Listed at $117,000. On the surface, it looks like a small $3,000 cut. But the real story of this home has nothing to do with a discount. It has everything to do with the year it was built, 1895. That means this house was standing before Texas entered the 20th century. 130 years have passed. Dozens of families, storms, dry summers, everything, and it's still here. Comanche is the kind of town that doesn't try to be anything other than what it is. Courthouse Square, a diner that's been there longer than anyone can remember. Streets that go quiet before 9 p.m. Cook's Fish Barn has been on Highway 36 for decades. In a town like Comanche, a place like that isn't just a restaurant. It's a town. People describe living here the same way every time. Enough space from your neighbors, close to what you need, and genuinely peaceful. The median home value in Comanche is $170,400. This one comes in $53,000 below that. Brownwood is 30 minutes away. Stephenville is 45. Abilene is an hour. The address is 5401 Texas 36. 3 bedrooms, 2 bathrooms, 1,224 square feet. Both bathrooms have been updated. Some work is still in progress. The flooring is prepped and ready to lay, and 10 boxes of new floor material are included in the sale. Outside, 26,572 square feet of open land, central heating and air in working order, high-speed internet access, important detail for remote workers, annual property taxes, $1,416. Average rent in Comanche runs about $840 a month. Your mortgage on a $117,000 home, even at current rates, comes in below that. The difference, over 10 years, is the difference between owning a 130-year-old house on 26,000 square feet of land and writing checks that built someone else's retirement. Crime rate runs slightly above the national average, worth knowing before you sign. The people who live in Comanche describe it the same way, every time. Quiet, slow, comfortable. Drive through at different times. The street tells its own story. This one is for the buyer who wants a house that's outlasted everything around it and will outlast everything built today. Built in 1895. 130 years have passed. The bones are still straight. And now the last one. I saved the lowest number for last. When I first saw it, I went back to the listing twice because I was sure I was reading it wrong. $41,900. Stop and let that number land. That's not a monthly rent payment. That's not a car loan. That's the full asking price for a home with a 334 square foot attached garage in Texas. In Dallas, people spend that on parking. Winters doesn't advertise itself and doesn't need to. The streets go quiet early in the morning. Finding a place to watch the sun go down at the end of the day is never a problem. That kind of quiet used to be free. Now people drive hours and pay by the night to find it. Here it just comes with the house. The median home value here is $65,000, which means this property comes in below even the local average. Crime is noticeably below the national average. Abilene is 45 minutes away. Lubbock is an hour and a half. The home is at 600 West Dale Street, built in 1950. 1,334 square feet, 2 bedrooms, 1 bathroom, an open-plan living room, a laundry room, and that attached single-car garage. The original hardwood floors are intact, with countertops in the kitchen. The cellar doesn't hide it. This is a fixer-upper Exterior needs work. Interior needs attention. At $41,900, you're not paying for finished. You're paying for real. The bones are there. What you do with them is up to you. Here's the math. You pay $41,900 for the home. You put $30,000 into it. Total cost, $71,900. At that number, this is still a rational investment by almost any measure. Average rent in winters runs $970 a month. That's $11,640 a year. In 6 years, rent payment alone would have covered the entire $41,900 purchase price of this house, with money left over for every repair on the list. The renter pays 6 years and owns nothing. You pay once and own land in Texas. Seller wants it gone. This is for whoever's ready to stop paying someone else's mortgage and start building their own. $41,900. The math works. The only question is whether you're the kind of person who acts on it. 10 homes, 10 different versions of Texas, a modern farmhouse with a loan rate most buyers can't touch, 8 acres 70 miles from Dallas, a house built in 1895 that's still standing, reclaimed church timber in the walls of a 2-story farmhouse within walking distance of a river, and in winters, a home listed at $41,900, less than a few months of rent in most Texas cities. The people who scrolled past these listings this morning are still paying rent tonight. You watched until the end. That's already a different kind of thinking. Links are in the description. I'm Max. I hunt listings like these every week, so you don't have to. Subscribe to Real Estate Hunter USA. Next week, I'm in a different state, and the numbers only get more surprising.